Fellow Sparkies, you've been lied to. We've been told that starting an electrical business or running the existing electrical business you're running is meant to be a slog. It's meant to be hard, long days, long hours, no profit. It's all meant to be part of the deal. That's fucking bullshit. It isn't about being lazy in business and not doing the work. It's about being smart about how you do the work and the model that you've got instilled into your electrical business. What about instead of running yourself into the fucking ground, you run a lean, systematic business that's actually profitable? Pretty fucking crazy, right? A model that works whether you're a solo operator or you've got a team of guys. What we want is more time with family, kids, doing stuff you enjoy, going playing golf, playing sports, having a beer that isn't driven by the stress of having to get back 15 quotes to shitty clients. I genuinely know this works because I'm fucking walking, talking proof. I've plugged all this stuff into my electrical business. If you're new here, my name is Alan. I've been running electrical business in Sydney, Australia for the last 10 years. I'm 21 years an electrician. My star sign is Nipex. I've built my electrical business from the ground up with all the hard yards, going from literally zero up to 40 to 60 grand consistent months. And consistent is the key here. And that leaves about 20 to 35% profit left over. I mean, that's after wages, overheads, bills, all that are paid. That's what we're talking about left over. And that's the important thing. So many coaches and dickheads out there harp on about revenue. Revenue isn't worth the shit. It's all about the leftover, not the turnover. I've achieved this essentially as a solo operator. And what excites me about my model is what happens when you plug staff into it. I've got a small virtual team in the background that do all the heavy lifting, the shit that I don't want to do, the shit that you don't want to do. And that makes for a wonderful business. All the rosy stuff I just mentioned, it didn't start that way. When I started the business, I literally started from ground zero. I started this business in 2016 and I knew fucking nothing. I winged it. I listened to other electricians who were already employed. They basically set off my hourly rate, which was $60 an hour, which when you do the math on it, you're better off working for wages. And I just had belief. I didn't have the confidence to charge what I should be charging. Now, when I quote stuff, I deliver it with absolute confidence because I've crunched the numbers. I know exactly how much I need to make, that I can run a profitable business and take a good fat wage that we're all deserved of as electricians that literally put our life on the line. When I started out, I quoted every single job. Anybody that needed anything done, I'd go out there, quote it, waste my time. I didn't have a qualification system in place. I didn't have confidence in me or the company. I was more of a beggars can't be choosers. I think that's a huge thing is getting belief in your own company, the kind of work that you do want to do, finding those kind of clients that are actually going to pay the bills and appreciate your services. That's who we want to work for. When I started the business, I fucking didn't have a clue. Straight up, put my hand up. I did not have a clue. So what I did was I winged it. I just undercharged, underquoted. I responded to every single job inquiry. I went out to every single job. It didn't matter if it was domestic, commercial, industrial, raced out there, winged it, underquoted stuff. Still didn't get stuff. And it's funny, people looked me up and down and said, this guy doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. The way I introduced myself, the way I was actually dealing with the clients. They could smell the nerves and rookie off me. And it wasn't just a money factor where I was losing jobs. It was actually a confidence thing, which is huge. People underestimate that. It's authority and confidence is what's going to get you jobs. When I underquoted these jobs and I was doing the jobs, I was working long hours, literally slogging out on the tools, doing 12 to 16-hour days. And then you'd come home just depressed and you'd bring that shitty mood with you home. You would bring that into the home and it would reflect in onto my now wife. And it's just a bad environment to be in. One of the most disheartening things is when you slog it out for 12, 16-hour days, you look at your bank account, it's like, it's not too bad, there's money in there. And then you pay your tax bill, you pay your BAS bill, you pay your wages, which you're probably not paying enough wages anyway. You're better off working at wages at this stage when you reflect what you are getting paid. And you haven't got fuck all left over. Once all of those are paid out, you look at your bank account and it's fucking got tumbleweeds inside it. And now that's what really hit me. It was like, fuck, why am I doing this? Why am I running a business? I may as well be employed, have a job. That genuinely hit me too. I was 2 or 3 years into business. I was spinning wheels. And then I was like, was it a big fucking ego thing that I wanted to start my own business? And was I better off actually working employed for wages that I knew at least every Tuesday, I check my bank account, I get my email from the admin lady, wages are gone into your bank. Where this all kind of changed was I changed my mentality of who I was working for. I was trying to please builders, working for real estate, strata, squeezing in every kind of shitty client job with the mentality that I better do this job or I won't have the money. But the shift came in me when I was like my one client model where I went really, really deep on one target client and focused heavily on them. Where do they live? What did they get up to? What were their hobbies? What interests them? How could I speak to them correctly? Where do I find them? How do I target those types of clients? From that, everything changed because once I dialed that in, I started finding a lot more of those clients. And what happens then is when you get those clients coming in, you can start to fizzle out and ditch the shitty clients. And then you start building a client base that's actually respectful of you, respectful of your business. They love you. They leave you reviews. They pay you the same day. I couldn't fucking believe it. And it's such simple little shifts in your business do this. I didn't just want a business that looked successful. I wanted a business that was successful. And success to me isn't more so money. It is obviously money. We all want to make money and profit, like good money and profit. Success to me is having the time to spend that money and profit with your family, buying nice things, going on a nice holiday, spending time with your kids, doing shit that you want to do. That's my idea of wealth and fulfillment. Within my business, I live by 3 rules. Rule number 1 is one client type. As I spoke about, get hyper niche with your client. Figure out who the best clients are. That's who you want to work for. Stop trying to please everyone. Pull the pin on the shitty clients. Ditch them. Ignore them. Get rid of them. It's scary to do this, but when you shut a door, a window opens. You will get more clients coming in as long as you follow the process. Rule number 2, systems. Very important. When do you start systemizing? Immediately. What I did was I found the repetitive tasks that I was doing day in, day out. An inquiry would come in. It was a very predictable flow that would happen. It would come in, it would move through my job manager software, some automations, emails, etc. I systemized that. Therefore, I got a virtual assistant that got plugged in. They could then follow the process, replicate what I do very easily. That delegated the system to them. I've set up a load of systems, very simple systems, and systems aren't complicated, aren't overwhelming. It's just about doing the right systems. It's going to delegate your time out, so it frees up your time so you're not doing that shit in the evening when you want to be spending time with your family. Rule number 3 is have a very simplistic business. For my business, I would almost call it boring. And unfortunately, boring businesses are profitable businesses. Unfortunate that it's boring, fortunate that it's profitable. What I mean by that is because I'm hyper niche with the type of work I do, the type of clients I deal with, systems are very repetitive, as we spoke in rule 2. The job comes in a specific way, it follows along a funnel, and then it goes into the system, out of the system, money comes in. Very simplistic. Keep things simple. One client type, one way they come in, one way you handle the leads. Don't start divvying that way, changing this, changing that. Keep it extremely simple because complexity just causes fucking chaos in your business. And if it's complex and you are finding it hard to stay control of, imagine delegating that task out to somebody else. It's just not going to work. Those are 3 of the major rules I follow in my electrical business, but it wasn't always that way. The turning point for me came when I started getting comfortable in the uncomfortable. And what I mean by that is nothing grows in a comfort zone. I had to get out of my own way. I was winging it. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Years of winging it, copying what other Sparkies were doing, that they didn't even know what they were doing. It was the blind leading the blind. So I started listening to podcasts. I got coaching. I looked inside other businesses apart from electrical that I was dealing with. And I was like, how are they doing this? I dug into their back end and I was like, I fucking like this. I started to use and replicate and implement what I seen was working in other industries and plugged it into my electrical business, which is fucking pretty crazy because they're some of the biggest levers for profit that my members pull by implementing that stuff into their electrical business. Whatever was working for them, I stole it and plugged it into my business. If it was going to work for them, it was going to work for me. It was just a different industry. When I got my shit together after a few months, I had better clarity, better clients, profits started to come in. No more hustling for fucking shitty jobs, just a business that finally ran and made sense. Right now, I've built the exact electrical business that I want. Consistent clients coming in. I don't have to beg anybody for work. I've got the credibility. They're coming to me with their wallets open. The company's profitable. I don't work weekends. It's a lean, systematic business that I dreamed of building, but built. Fucking wonderful. It's taken slog. That's why as an electrician, I'm going to hand you, another electrician, the cheat code to do this with your business. And that's why I'm doing this mini series. No hype, no fantasy, just what actually fucking works because I'm walking, talking proof of that. In the coming videos, I'm going to introduce you to my Simplified Sparky Flywheel. Why I call it a flywheel is we want to churn lead back into the system. If you can imagine a funnel, which is the traditional marketing jargon what people use, clients drop into the top, they work their way through a little channel, they go in, they're cold, they work their way through, they're a paying client, they pay, they get spat out the bottom. Why I call mine a flywheel is we want to throw them back into the top. We want a retention system in place. Flywheels build momentum, they store energy, and then they compound. That's exactly what I want to do with your electrical business. Where this all stemmed from was I wanted consistency. I wanted next month to be full. I wanted the month after to be full. I'm not talking weeks in advance. I'm just talking I wanted every day filled up. And how I did this, and how I figured this out was plugging in this retention system meant I wasn't just getting new leads trickling in that might fill a few days. They'd be out for a coffee with their friend. They'd be out for dinner. Their friend may mention something about electricity or they need a Sparky. And guess who came top of mind? You, because you stayed on top of your client. It's such a valuable thing that you need to do. So many Sparkies just churn and burn clients thinking they're going to come back, but they're not. Not all of them. Some of them will, but not all of them. And that's your duty to stay on top of them. There's 4 key components that I'm going to run through in these videos. There's clarity, There's attraction, conversion, and retention. These are going to be the 4 videos. Everything loops, everything compounds. Simplicity is key. What I want to do is instill you to have confidence in yourself and your business, and instill belief that you don't need complexity, belief that simple scales, belief that you don't need 10-hour days to make a good living and a good electrical business. We're not talking about turnover, we're talking about profit. I want to shift your belief as an electrician of how your business can look when you implement these systems into your business. I'll see you in the next video. If you're impatient like me, there's more stuff in the description. Catch you next one.